Some moments don't make sense until much later. Like how silence can say more than words, or how a stupid little emoji can feel like a confession. It came at 11:42 p.m. Just a single emoji, blue heart, no text, no explanation. Just that, from him, Micah Reed, my best friend since 7th grade, and maybe, quietly, stupidly, the boy I've been in love with for years. The second I saw it, my chest tightened. I stared at my screen like it was glowing hotter than it should. My thumb hovered over the message, trembling. I didn't know what to say, didn't know what it meant. I knew what I wanted it to mean, but Micah wasn't like that. At least, he'd never said he was. Earlier that night, we were all at the homecoming bonfire. Smoke, beer, laughter echoing across the lake. People shouting, dancing. Someone jumped in the water, fully clothed. And Micah, I watched him kiss a girl on the cheek. It wasn't even that big of a deal, but it felt like a knife. And now, hours later, wrapped in my blanket, staring at the ceiling fan slice through darkness, that blue heart lit up my phone. Like a secret, like a whisper I wasn't supposed to hear. Micah was the kind of guy people noticed before he even said a word. Messy brown hair, sun-warmed skin, that effortless smile. But what really got you was the way he looked at you. Like you were the only one in the room, like you mattered. I'd spent years trying not to read too much into it, or into the way he'd rest his hand on my knee when we were alone, or the way he whispered my name when the rest of the party had passed out. But a blue heart? That was new. The next morning, I didn't bring it up. I couldn't. I saw him leaning against his locker. Same old Micah. Half smile, flannel shirt, girls laughing too loud next to him. Yo, he said, just like always. Hey, I said back. Too quiet. His eyes met mine. Held the moment a little too long. Then looked away. At lunch, we sat at our usual table. Zane made some dumb joke about Mr. Cromwell's coffee breath. Micah nudged my foot under the table. Soft, intentional. I pulled back too fast. He leaned in closer. You good? He asked, his voice low. Just for me. I nodded, but I couldn't look at him, because I didn't know which version of Micah I was looking at. The one who sent me blue heart, or the one who kissed girls like it didn't mean anything. The truth? I felt like I was waiting for something that had already happened, like the earth had shifted, and I was the only one who noticed. Flashback to 8th grade, Micah's trampoline. Midnight, July air thick with fireflies and silence. He turned to me and whispered, "Do you ever feel like you're pretending?" I said, "Pretending what?" He paused, then said, "Like, being what everyone thinks you are, what they want you to be." I didn't say anything, because yes. And then he reached over and brushed something from my cheek. A leaf? Maybe, or nothing at all, but his fingers lingered back to now, senior year, and he sends a heart, then acts like nothing happened. After school, I sat in my car, phone in my hand, screen dark. Finally, I texted him, "Hey, about last night." 3 dots appeared, then disappeared, then came back, then vanished again. Then he replied, "You saw it." My throat dried up. Yeah, just wasn't sure if it was for me. He waited, then wrote. It was... I stared at those 2 words like they were written in fire. I typed and deleted 10 times before I finally sent. What does it mean? No reply. That night we FaceTimed. No reason. Just like we always did. His hoodie was half-zipped. Hair messy. Eyes tired. He asked about calc homework. I mumbled something about finishing it. Silence stretched between us. Then he said it. I meant it. I blinked. What? The emoji. I meant it. My heart stopped. I couldn't breathe. Why'd you send it? I whispered. He looked away, then back at the camera. his voice low, because I wanted to know if you knew what it meant. I did. God, I did. I did, I said quietly. His eyes dropped. He exhaled like he'd been holding his breath for years. Okay, he whispered. We didn't say goodnight. We didn't need to. We just stayed there, watching each other through screens. Like something had started, something small, something fragile, something real. The next day was different, not loud, not dramatic, just different. He brushed against me in the hallway. Our hands touched, barely, but I felt it for the rest of the day. He leaned closer in class, laughed softer, watched me when he thought I wasn't looking. No one noticed, but I did. That night, another text. Blue heart. But this time, there were words too. I'm scared too, but I don't want to keep pretending. That's when I knew. This wasn't just about a heart. This wasn't just about a message. It was the beginning of a secret, a slow burn, a quiet unraveling, not with fireworks, but with something even more dangerous. Hope. He sent a heart, but is that all it was? What happens when a feeling becomes too big to hide? And what if someone else finds out first? Keep watching. The truth is about to get messy. The scariest part isn't falling. It's pretending you're not already halfway down. Something had shifted between us. And it wasn't just the text. It was the way he looked at me in the hallway now. Like he was trying not to. It was the silence between sentences. The way his shoulder brushed mine and stayed there half a second too long. The way our friendship suddenly felt like a lie we were both still trying to live inside. We were both pretending nothing had changed. But it had. It absolutely had. Friday night. Movie night at Micah's place. Same as always. Basement couch. Too many blankets. Too much popcorn. Zane, Hannah, Kelsey, Micah, me. But everything felt off. Micah sat next to me. Of course he did. He always did. But this time, his leg touched mine and didn't move. I told myself it was nothing until I looked down and realized he knew. He knew we were touching, and he didn't pull away. Halfway through the movie, I felt his fingers graze mine. Soft, accidental, but not. I looked at him. He didn't look back. His eyes stayed on the screen, but his fingers stayed there, resting, breathing, like they wanted to be held. Then Hannah spoke. So, who are we all bringing to winter formal? Micah blinked, pulled his hand back quickly. Too quickly. Everyone looked around. Zane smirked. I swear, if I see another couple in matching flannel. You're just jealous, Kelsey cut in. Hannah turned to Micah. Reed? You going with anyone? My breath caught. He didn't look at me, didn't smile, just shrugged. Probably not. He said it like it meant nothing, like I meant nothing. And suddenly, the couch felt like it was on fire beneath me. After the movie, everyone left. I didn't. I couldn't. I just sat there, pretending to scroll through my phone, pretending I hadn't just imagined everything. Micah walked back in, freshly changed. Sweatpants, t-shirt, still drying his hair with a towel. You're still here, he said. Yeah, I mumbled. He flopped down on the couch across from me, legs wide, arms draped lazily over the backrest. You okay? He asked. I stared at him, at the boy I'd known for 6 years, the boy who'd sent me a heart at midnight, the boy who brushed my hand in the dark, and then said, probably not, like it was just a normal night. I don't know, I said honestly. The room fell quiet. Micah leaned forward, elbows on his knees. I didn't mean it like that. Like what? When I said I wasn't going with anyone. I swallowed. Then how did you mean it? He ran a hand through his hair, sighing hard. I don't know. I panicked, okay? I blinked, panicked. He looked at me, really looked, because they were all watching. Because I don't know how to do this. Do what, Micah? He stood suddenly, started pacing. This just whatever this is. I don't know what the rules are. There aren't any rules, I said quietly. He turned. His face was soft. Scared. I don't want to mess this up. There it was. The truth behind the hesitation. Behind the late-night emoji. Behind the look in his eyes. He wasn't trying to hurt me. He was trying not to break. I stood too. Took a step toward him. He didn't move. Our chests were inches apart. You didn't mess anything up? I whispered. He looked down. At my lips. Then up. Then down again. His hand twitched like it wanted to move, but didn't. Instead, he stepped back. I should go to bed. I nodded. Yeah, okay. He started toward the stairs, then stopped, turned back. His voice was barely a whisper. I felt everything when I touched your hand. Then he left. The next week was a blur. We still talked, still joked, still walked to class together. But there was something unspoken sitting between us now. Thick, loud, heavy, and someone else was starting to notice. Zane pulled me aside during lunch. He kept his voice low, but his eyes were serious. You and Micah something up? I froze. No. Why? He raised a brow. You sure? Yeah. He nodded slowly, then leaned closer. It's okay, if something is going on. My throat tightened. There's nothing. Zane didn't believe me. I could see it. But he let it go. Later that night, Micah texted. Blue heart. Just the emoji again. No words. Like he wanted to remind me that the silence wasn't empty. That the space between us wasn't a wall. Just a pause. 2 days later, it happened. After school, Micah's truck, me in the passenger seat. Rain smeared the windshield. We sat in silence. Music low. He cleared his throat. I was going to ask someone to winter formal. My stomach dropped. Oh, but I didn't. I looked at him. His knuckles were white on the steering wheel. I didn't because I kept thinking about you. I blinked. Micah, I don't know what this is, he said quickly. I just know I want it. His voice cracked. I want you. My heart felt like it was trying to claw its way out of my chest. I reached over and placed my hand gently over his. He flinched at first, then relaxed. I want you too, I whispered. The car was quiet, except for the rain, and our breathing, and the fact that I could feel his heartbeat through his fingers. That night, I didn't sleep. I just kept replaying his words. I want you, and wondering what would happen when wanting wasn't enough. The next morning, we weren't careful. We walked too close, laughed too hard. Micah touched my shoulder in the hallway, and Zane saw it. His eyes narrowed, and that's when I knew the secret was starting to unravel. Sometimes the person you love the most is the one you're most afraid to be seen with. Secrets feel different once they have witnesses. What used to feel sweet suddenly felt dangerous. What used to feel like us now felt like a risk. And it wasn't because of what we were doing. It was because someone saw us. Zane didn't say anything at first, but I could feel it in the way he looked at me during class, in the silence that used to be filled with dumb jokes. Micah acted like everything was fine, but I knew he noticed too. He was quieter, more careful, less. Micah, Saturday, we were supposed to hang out, just the two of us, but at the last second, he bailed. Micah, Dad's making me help him in the garage all afternoon. Rain check. My phone stayed in my hand for 15 minutes before I even typed a reply. Yeah, no worries. It felt like a lie. The next day, he didn't text me at all. No blue heart. No, yo, not even a meme. And I started wondering if I had made it all up. Monday at school, we were walking to history when I finally asked, "You okay?" Micah glanced at me, then down at the hallway floor. Yeah, just tired. Right. He looked at me again, longer this time, like he wanted to say something, like he wanted to apologize. But he didn't. He just nodded and walked into class. And I stood there, outside the door, wondering when I became someone you could ignore. Later that day, Zane cornered me. It wasn't dramatic. He just sat down across from me in the library and said, quietly, You know I'm not stupid, right? My throat went dry. He didn't blink. I saw the way he looked at you. In the hallway. In the truck after practice. I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. I don't care, Zane said, voice calm. I'm not judging you. Then what are you doing? I asked. He leaned in slightly. I'm making sure he doesn't break you. Because the truth was, Micah could, if he wanted to, he could crush me, and I'd probably let him. That night, I couldn't take it anymore. I called him, straight up. No texting. No emoji. The phone rang once. Twice. 3 times. Then he answered. Hey, he said soft. You okay? Silence. Then, yeah, I don't know how to do this. Do what? This thing. With you. It's not like I can just hold your hand in the hallway. I don't need you to. Micah sighed hard. You say that, but you looked at me like I stabbed you the other day. I didn't deny it, because he was right. It did hurt, to be touched in private, and ghosted in public. Then he said something I wasn't ready for. What if we just acted normal again? My chest cracked. Normal? He hesitated. I mean, just like friends. For now. My voice shook. Is that what you want? Micah didn't answer, which was an answer. Cool, I whispered. Just friends. The next day, we laughed at lunch again, threw pencils at Zane, talked trash about Mr. Cromwell's weird neck mole. To everyone else, we looked like we were fine, like nothing ever happened. But every time his hand brushed mine, every time his laugh hit my chest, every time he almost looked at me, it felt like I was dying quietly. After school, he pulled into my driveway, didn't turn off the engine, didn't say anything for a long time. Then, I didn't mean to hurt you. I stared at the dashboard. You didn't hurt me. He looked at me. Don't lie. I looked back. Then stop pretending you're not hurting too. He didn't respond, but his hands gripped the steering wheel tighter, like he was holding something in, and it was breaking through his fingers. I don't want to lose you, he whispered. You won't, but I'm scared. So am I? He exhaled. His voice cracked. Then why does this feel so hard? I didn't have an answer. That night, no text came. No blue heart. No check-in. Just silence. And then everything changed. Thursday, we had a substitute in history. Everyone was half asleep. Micah sat next to me again, just like old times. Our knees bumped under the table. He didn't move away. He just sat there, warm, quiet, and then his hand found mine, not just a graze. Full-on touch, palm to palm, under the desk, hidden, but real, and my heart started racing so fast. I couldn't hear the lecture anymore. All I could feel was him, his hand in mine, his thumb brushing slowly across my skin, like it meant something, like it always had. After class, I caught his arm in the hallway. What was that? He looked around, nervous. No one saw. That's not what I meant. Micah looked down, then up at me again, eyes soft. I didn't want to go another day pretending I didn't miss you. Then stop pretending. I said. He nodded once. Come over tonight? Yeah, I said. He smiled. And this time, it reached his eyes. That night, Micah's room. Low light. Door closed. We played music. Lay on the carpet. Talked about everything but the truth. Until we weren't talking at all. Just breathing. Just looking. He rolled onto his side to face me. His fingers found mine again. I never said it before, he whispered. Said what? He swallowed, then looked me dead in the eyes. I like you, Noah. I felt my world tilt. I didn't say anything. I didn't need to, because I leaned forward and kissed him. It wasn't fireworks. It wasn't some perfect movie moment. It was shaky, quiet, terrified, but it was real. So real. He kissed me back like he'd been waiting for permission, like he'd been dreaming of it. And when we finally pulled away, he smiled and whispered, I've been wanting to do that since 8th grade. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't move. I just smiled back and finally believed maybe this wasn't a secret anymore. Maybe it was the beginning of something real. Secrets always feel safe in the dark until someone turns on the light. I don't know who took the photo. I don't even know when it happened. All I know is it was real. It was us, me and Micah, lying on the floor of his bedroom, my head resting near his shoulder, his hand tangled in mine, our eyes closed, our hearts not. And now, the whole school had seen it. It started with a ping. Zane texted me, "Bro, it's going around. Fast." My stomach flipped. Then another message came in, this time from Hannah. "Are you okay? I just want to say I'm here. No judgment." Then Kelsey. Then 3 other people I barely talked to. And I knew, without even checking, that it had happened. I opened my phone. Instagram, group chats, Snap stories. All of them, the same photo. Pixelated, zoomed in, but unmistakable. Micah's room, his hoodie, my face near his chest. Our hands, God, our hands, interlocked. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. I just sat on my bed, staring at the screen, feeling my heart fall through the floor. And then Micah called. He didn't even say hi. Just, "Do you see it?" I said nothing. "Are you okay?" Still nothing. Because I didn't know how to answer that. Was I okay? No. Was I shocked? No. Deep down, I always knew this would happen. You can't hide something real forever. "Say something," Micah whispered. My throat finally unlocked. What now? The silence on the other end told me everything. He didn't know. Neither of us did. We hadn't planned for this far ahead. We barely even knew what we were to each other. And now the whole school thought they had the answer. The next morning at school, people stared. Whispers, half smiles, raised brows, a few sneers. But worse than all of that was the quiet. The hallway felt frozen. Like everyone was waiting to see what Micah would do. Not me. Him. Because he was the popular one. The star athlete. The guy everyone liked. The guy who kissed girls at bonfires. Not me. I saw him by the lockers. He didn't see me yet. His friends were around him, laughing, talking. But Micah wasn't laughing. He was just standing there, stiff, tense. And then one of the guys, Evan, clapped him on the back. "You and Noah, huh?" he said too loudly. Micah flinched, laughed awkwardly. "Nah, man, that pic's taken out of context." My chest imploded. I turned around before he saw me, walked straight into the bathroom, locked the stall, and just stood there, hands shaking, head spinning. He denied it, just like that, like it meant nothing, like I meant nothing. I didn't go to lunch. I sat behind the gym, headphones in, staring at the track field, willing myself not to feel anything. But my hand betrayed me. They were trembling, and my chest ached in that slow, quiet way, the kind that doesn't break you all at once. Just slowly, relentlessly. That night, no text came. No blue heart. No, "You okay?" Just silence. The next day, Micah found me in the parking lot. I tried to walk past him. He stepped in front of me. "Noah." I shook my head. "Don't. Just listen." "To what?" I snapped. "To you pretending we don't exist?" He looked around. People were watching us. He lowered his voice. "I didn't mean it like that." I panicked. "Yeah," I said bitterly. "You're really good at that." His face broke. "I'm sorry." "Are you?" He nodded, eyes glossed. I didn't know they were going to say anything. I didn't know what to say back. "Here's an idea." I whispered. "Say the truth." He looked down. "Can we talk? Like, really talk?" I didn't answer. I just got in my car and drove away. That night, I lay in bed for hours. No music, no lights. Just a faint buzz on my phone screen lighting up over and over. His name. Again, again, again. But I didn't reply. Not this time. Until I got a knock on my window. It was 12:17 a.m. I pulled back my curtain, and there he was, Micah, in a hoodie, hair messy, eyes desperate. I opened the window. What are you doing? I needed to see you. In the middle of the night? I couldn't sleep. Why? He swallowed. Because I hurt you. And I swear, hearing that from him, it shattered something in me. I hate myself for it, he whispered. I hate how I froze. I hate how I let them control what I said. I didn't speak. He climbed in through the window and stood there, looking at me like I was the only thing in the world that made sense. I was scared, he said. I know, I said, but that's not an excuse. No, I whispered. It's not. He nodded, eyes full of tears. Then I'll do better. He stepped forward. I'll stop hiding. I looked up at him. I need you to mean it. I do. He took my hand gently. I'm ready. And then he kissed me. Not like last time. Not soft and unsure. This time, it was full of everything. Apology, desperation, need. He kissed me like he couldn't breathe without me. And I let him. When we pulled apart, I looked him in the eyes. What happens tomorrow? He didn't even hesitate. We hold hands. In daylight. In the hallway. Even if people stare? He smiled. Especially if they stare. And that's when I realized Micah wasn't just ready to be mine. He was ready to show it. Bravery isn't loud. It's the quiet moment you decide to stop running. The next morning, Micah was already waiting for me in the parking lot, leaning against his car, hands in pockets, eyes searching the crowd like he'd been there for a while. He saw me and smiled, not the practice grin he gave teachers, not the bro smirk he gave his teammates. A real smile, just for me. He didn't say anything, just walked over and took my hand, right there, in front of everyone. No hesitation, no flinch, no look around to make sure it was safe. He just did it. And suddenly, I didn't care who saw. The hallway went quiet. It felt like the air thinned, like everyone was holding their breath. A locker slammed. Someone dropped a pencil. A group of girls froze mid-whisper. But Micah didn't stop walking. And neither did I. And that silence, it didn't feel terrifying. It felt powerful. Zane saw us first. He raised an eyebrow, then nodded, like finally, like it's about time. Then the whisper started, fast, frantic, but this time we kept walking. At lunch we sat together, like we always did, except now. Micah's knee pressed into mine under the table. His hand found my thigh for a second when he leaned over to whisper, "You okay?" I nodded, but honestly, I wasn't. Not yet. Not fully. But for the first time, I believed I would be. Micah's friends weren't all chill about it. Evan didn't even look at him. Tyler muttered something under his breath and walked away. And Jake, the loudest one of all, just laughed and said, "Damn, never pegged you for the fairy tale type." Micah didn't flinch. He just looked Jake in the eye and said, "Didn't peg you for a coward either." Jake didn't laugh after that. The rest of the day felt weirdly normal. Classes, homework, more stares. But no one said anything to me. Not directly. It was like they were afraid Micah might actually swing back, physically or otherwise, because when he held my hand, it wasn't just soft. It was protective. It was loud. Until sixth period. Until Mr. Cromwell's class. Micah wasn't in that one with me. And maybe that's why it happened then. Because I was alone. It started with a note, folded and slipped onto my desk. I looked up. A couple of kids were snickering. The note just said, "Which one of you is a girl?" I swallowed hard. Didn't react. Didn't show it. But inside, I felt it. That same sting. That old weight in my chest. The one that says, "You're not safe here." Then the whispers got louder. Not even subtle. Words like, "Gross. Can't unsee it." No wonder Micah didn't date anyone before. My fists clenched. My pulse hammered. But I didn't break. Not yet. Until someone threw a paper ball at me. Right at my back. I turned around. Jake. Of course. His face said it all. Smirking, mocking, waiting for a reaction. And I gave him one. I stood up, chair screeching back, hands shaking. The class went silent. Even Mr. Cromwell looked up from his laptop. Jake smiled wider. What's wrong, Noah? You're gonna cry. I took a step forward. Another. And then Micah walked into the room. Everyone turned. He wasn't supposed to be here. But he was. And he wasn't smiling. Not even a little. He walked right up to me, stood beside me, and looked Jake dead in the eyes. Throw something else at him. I dare you. Jake laughed, unsure. Micah didn't. You have a problem with me? Fine. Say it to me. But you leave him alone. Another silence. Another heartbeat that felt like thunder. Then Jake rolled his eyes and slouched back in his chair. Mr. Cromwell stood finally. Enough. Both of you, sit down. Now. Micah didn't sit. Not yet. He turned to me. You okay? I nodded. Barely. And he looked back at the class, then back at me, and reached for my hand, in front of everyone. And I took it. The teacher didn't say a word. No one did. But I felt something shift. Not just in the room. In me. Like I didn't have to shrink anymore. Like I wasn't something to hide. After class, we walked out together. Micah was quiet. Until we reached the stairwell. He stopped. Turned to me. I saw the messages. He said, What messages? From the group chat. My old friends. I'm not in it anymore, but someone screenshotted it. He pulled out his phone. Showed me. And yeah, it was bad. Words like, Micah's gone soft. But they're already doing freaky sh*t. No way he's still one of us. He looked up at me. Voice soft. I don't care what they say. Even if it costs you everything. He didn't even blink. I've already got everything I want. And God, I almost kissed him right there in the stairwell. But we didn't. Not yet. Instead, we just stood there, hands clasped, foreheads touching, breathing. Because sometimes silence says more than words ever could. That night, at his house, we didn't talk much. We didn't have to. We sat on his bed, face to face. His fingers traced mine slowly, gently, like he was memorizing me. And then he whispered, I want to tell my parents. My breath caught. You sure? No, he said, but I want to try. The next day he did, and it didn't go like a movie. There were tears, confusion, long silences. But there wasn't anger. There wasn't hate. Just time. And questions. And a mom who said, I still love you. I just didn't know. And a dad who said, okay, let me get used to it. But okay. Micah called me after, voice shaking, tears in it. But his words were clear. They didn't throw me out. And suddenly, the world felt a little softer. That night, he sent me a new emoji, dizzy, one I hadn't seen from him before. I replied with, blue heart. And finally, for once, no words were needed, because we weren't hiding anymore. Not from them, not from ourselves, not from each other. You think you know someone, until someone else tells you the version they never showed. I got the message at 1:13 a.m., not from Micah, not from a friend, not from anyone I knew, just a username I didn't recognize. No profile picture, no posts, but the message, it started with 5 words. You deserve to know everything. I stared at my screen, still half asleep, confused, dizzy. My first instinct? Ignore it. But I didn't. I opened it, scrolled, and felt my chest twist, because what followed was a photo of Micah from last year. He looked different. His hair was shorter, his face younger. But the smile, it was the same one he gave me when he thought no one else was looking. Except in the photo, he wasn't looking at me. He was looking at someone else. A boy, blonde, soft jawline, hand on Micah's knee, both of them sitting on what looked like a cabin porch. And the caption? We had 1 week, but I still dream about it. Under the photo, the message continued. He'll never tell you the truth, but he wasn't always honest. He broke me, and just like that, the floor dropped out from under me. I didn't sleep that night, not even for a second. Micah had told me everything, hadn't he? He said I was his first real anything, his first boy, his first kiss. But this wasn't nothing. This wasn't just a phase. This was a past, one he never told me about. And now I couldn't unsee it. The next morning, I didn't text him, didn't check for Blue Heart, didn't answer his good morning smiley face. Snap. I just sat with it, let the silence grow heavy between us. By third period, he noticed. By fourth, he found me in the hallway. "Noah," he said, gripping my arm. "What's wrong?" I didn't answer. I couldn't. I just handed him my phone, opened the message, and watched as he read it, his face draining of color. He didn't speak for a long time. He just looked broken. And then, I can explain. We sat in his car, windows rolled up, engine off, just the two of us in the middle of a quiet school parking lot, while Micah told me everything. His name was Riley, he said quietly. Camp friend. Summer before junior year. We were both counselors. No one knew. We kissed. We tried. But Micah looked down. I ghosted him. Why? Because I was scared. I told myself it wasn't real, that I was just confused, that I couldn't ever actually be with a guy, not if I want to keep my friends, my family, my life. He ran a hand through his hair. I told him I'd text him when we got home. I never did. I blocked him on everything, and he never forgave me. I swallowed the lump in my throat, and now he found me. Micah nodded slowly. I didn't think he would, but maybe I deserve it. I didn't say anything at first. I just sat there, letting it hit, the disappointment, the ache, the betrayal I didn't want to admit I felt. Then I said, "You lied to me." Micah flinched. I didn't mean to. I wanted to forget who I was back then. And what was that? Terrified. I looked at him. Did you love him? Micah shook his head. No, but I hurt him, and I hate myself for it. He looked at me with tears in his voice. I didn't want to mess this up. You're the first person I've actually let in. You say that like it means something. I whispered, but you still lied. I didn't lie, he said softly. I hid. There's a difference, but both still cut. I opened the car door. Micah grabbed my hand. Don't walk away. I need time. I'm not him, Noah. I know, I said, but right now, I'm not sure who you are. That night, he didn't text. I didn't either, but the ache in my chest, it didn't leave me. It just sat there, heavy, hot, hurting, and I couldn't stop seeing that photo in my head. Micah smiling, just not at me. The next day at school, I avoided him, walked faster in the halls, sat in a different section at lunch. He didn't chase me, but he watched me, like a ghost hovering just out of reach. Until after school, I was walking to my car, backpack slung over one shoulder, sky gray above me, wind sharp. And then I saw him, standing by my car, holding something. It was a Polaroid, worn, edges bent. He handed it to me. I looked down and felt everything stop. It was me, asleep, on his bed, from a few weeks ago, his hoodie draped over me, one arm curled around his pillow, and in the corner, scrawled in his messy handwriting, "This time, I won't run." I looked up at him, tears already in my eyes. "I'm sorry," he whispered. "I should have told you. I was ashamed, not of you, of me, the me who hurt someone good. I didn't want you to see that side." I stared at him for a long moment, then said, "I'd rather know all of you than love only half." And that's when he stepped forward, pulled me into him, and held me like he didn't deserve to. And maybe he didn't, but I held him back anyway. Because love doesn't start when things are perfect. It starts when you forgive someone who isn't. Later that night, we lay on his bed in the dark. No music, no phones, just breaths and fingers brushing. He whispered, "You're still the first." I turned to him. What do you mean? You're the first one I told the truth to. And in the dark, I kissed him slow, not to forget the past, but to remind him he was still worth loving. The past doesn't knock. It breaks in when you least expect it. It was folded in half. No name, no stamp, no handwriting I recognized. Just a single sheet of lined notebook paper, stuffed halfway through the vents of my locker. I almost ignored it, almost crumpled it up. But something stopped me, something that whispered, this isn't random. And it wasn't, because when I opened it, the first line read, you think you know Micah. You don't. My hands trembled as I read the rest, each word colder than the last, each sentence cutting. He lied to me, too, said I was the only one, said he wasn't ready, said I meant something. Then he disappeared. You're just his next project. I couldn't breathe. The paper nearly slipped from my fingers. Because the signature? There wasn't one, but I already knew. It was from Riley. I stood there frozen, surrounded by lockers and noise and teenage chaos. But inside, I was numb. Micah said he'd told me everything. Micah swore there were no more lies. But if that was true, why did Riley still sound so broken? Why did I feel like I was just another version of someone else's pain? I didn't go to class. I sat under the bleachers, where no one would find me, where the world felt smaller, where I could breathe, just barely. My phone buzzed twice. Micah, hey, where are you? Everything okay? I stared at the screen, then turned it off. That night, I didn't respond. Not to him, not to anyone. Because how do you explain that someone else's past feels like it's swallowing you whole? The next morning, I skipped school, stayed in bed, pulled the covers over my head, and tried to silence the thoughts. But they came anyway. Was I just a phase? Was this all temporary? Was I just next? No knock on my window came. No hoodie. No desperate apology. Just silence. And it hurt more than it should have. By nightfall, I broke. I turned my phone back on. And before I could change my mind, I texted. I got a letter in my locker from him. Micah responded instantly. What did it say? Everything you didn't. He didn't reply for 5 minutes. Then, I'm coming over. When he arrived, he didn't try to hug me, didn't try to kiss me. Just stood there, hands in his hoodie pockets, eyes dark and honest. I didn't know he'd reach out, he said quietly. But he's not wrong. My throat tightened. I was the next one. No, he stepped forward. You're the last. I swear, Noah, that part of me, the one that hurt him, the one that ghosted, the one that was too scared to love someone out loud, he's gone. He looked down, but I guess he left a mess behind. I handed him the letter. Did you ever write something like this? I asked. He read it slowly, his jaw clenched. No, he said, but I thought about it when I hated myself, when I felt like I didn't deserve anyone. I almost sent something like this to my own reflection. I swallowed hard. He looked at me. I'm sorry you read this. I'm sorry I gave him a reason to write it. But is any of it true? He nodded slowly. Some. Then he looked up. But not the part about you being a project. Not the part about you being temporary. He stepped closer. You're the first person I've ever fought to keep. And just like that, something inside me cracked. All the anger, all the ache, all the fear. It didn't vanish, but it shifted. It made space for love, even the kind that comes with scars. We sat in my room that night, cross-legged on the floor. The lights were off. The moonlight painted silver on his skin. And he told me everything again, this time with nothing held back. About Riley, how they kissed in the lake behind the cabin, how he felt something real and ran from it, how he didn't respond to 3 desperate messages, how he'd wished every night since that he had. But with you, he whispered, I didn't run, not once, not even when it got hard. I looked at him, soft, hurt, strong. You still could, I said. You still might. I won't, he promised. even if you push me away. And I believed him, maybe for the first time. The next day at school, we walked in together, hand in hand. Again, people stared. Again. But this time, we didn't flinch, because people can talk. They can whisper. They can write letters, take photos, share rumors. But what Mike and I had, it was real. It had survived. At lunch, a girl I didn't know sat beside me. She looked nervous, then said, "Just so you know, people are rooting for you too." I blinked. "Really?" She nodded. "Even if they're quiet about it, doesn't mean they're not watching." Then she smiled, got up, and left. Micah grinned at me. "What was that?" "Hope," I said, and he kissed my hand under the table. But nothing prepared us for what came next, because as we walked to class, Micah's phone buzzed. He looked down, froze, and I saw it, over his shoulder. The message: "Thought you could forget about me? Think again. I'm back in town." And below that, a picture, Riley, outside our school, smiling. Sometimes the hardest goodbye is to the version of you that kept running. It happened in the courtyard. Second period. Sunny day. Too bright for the kind of storm that was about to hit. Micah and I were walking side by side, fingers brushing, still shy, still trying. And then we heard someone call his name. "Micah." He turned. I turned. And there he was, Riley, in the flesh, blonde, wearing an oversized flannel and too much history in his eyes. He walked right up to us. No hesitation. Micah froze. I could feel it, the shift in his breathing, the tension in his jaw. But he didn't step back. He didn't let go of my hand. Not this time. "Hey," Riley said, voice casual. But his eyes, they weren't. They were searching, measuring, staring at me, then back at Micah. "You didn't answer my message," he said. Micah's voice was quiet. I didn't know what to say. Riley nodded slowly, then looked at me again. "So this is him?" Micah didn't blink. "Yeah, this is Noah." And I don't know what I expected, but not this. Riley smiled, small, sad, then said, "He's cute, and you're braver than you used to be." Micah stepped forward, not aggressively, just enough to close the space between them. "I never meant to hurt you, Riley. I was a coward. I know that now." Riley crossed his arms. "You were worse than that." Micah didn't deny it. "I know." Riley looked away, then back. "And him," he said, nodding toward me. "Are you going to run from him too?" Micah's voice broke a little. "No, I'd burn everything before I lose him." Silence. People were watching now, not pretending anymore. Phones down, eyes locked, like something real was unfolding in front of them. And it was redemption. Riley nodded again, wiped at the corner of his eye, then said, "Good. I just needed to hear you say it." He reached into his back pocket, pulled out something small, a torn photo, the one from the cabin. But this time, he handed it to Micah. "You can let this go now," he said. And then he walked away. Micah stood there, staring at the photo, his past in his hand, his future beside him. And then he turned to me, broke the silence, voice shaking. "I need to do something." And before I could ask what, he grabbed my face and kissed me, right there, in front of everyone. No hoodie, no hiding, no fear, just lips and honesty and everything he never said with words. The courtyard went silent, and then someone clapped, then another, then the whole damn crowd. And I didn't care, because I was kissing him back, hard, like we'd earned this, like we survived this. Later that day, he walked me home, hand in mine, like we were just two boys in love, and the world hadn't nearly broken us. We sat on my porch steps, the sky orange above us, and I asked, "Are you okay?" Micah nodded slowly. "I think I am now." "Really?" He smiled. I let go of who I was. That guy Riley knew, the one who lied, who ran. I'm done with him. And I believed him. Not because he said it, but because of how he said it. That night, we didn't do anything wild. No party. No dramatic moment. Just Netflix. His hoodie around my shoulders. My head on his chest. And his hand tracing little circles on my arm. And when I started to drift off, I heard him whisper, "I sent you that emoji that night because I was too scared to say I love you." I smiled, eyes still closed, and whispered back, "Next time, say it." 1 year later, Micah's thumb hovered over my phone. We were sitting on the rooftop of his apartment. College life, new city, same love. He was posting a picture of us. The caption? Just an emoji, blue heart. And this time, the world could see, because sometimes the simplest things say the most, and this love was finally loud enough to never be misunderstood again.